This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Hello, 313. Hello, Michigan. And if you're listening outside the state of Michigan, I welcome you. Thank you for listening. This is episode number 20 of Travel Basketball with Gus Weaver. This show is only heard on Detroit Sports Podcast Network, and this is a show strictly dedicated to travel basketball in terms of the youth AAU programs here in the great state of Michigan. Once again, my name is Gus Weaver. Please follow me on Twitter at 313LifeBrand. You guys can check me out on Facebook as well. I'm kind of well versed in all sports. I do run a football Facebook contest that is free to join for everybody. I continue to give that a shout out on every podcast. Check that out on Facebook. The name of that group, the name of that contest is the 313 Life Who You Got Pick'em Challenge. Once again, free to play, not easy to win, but it's a good time. Once again, who I am currently, I'm the director of the 313 Hot Boys basketball organization. We're based right here in Detroit. Currently, we have two teams, a class of 2024 and class of 2025. I'm very appreciative, very thankful to Detroit Sports Podcast Network for giving me this platform to speak about something that's original. In terms of nobody around here is dedicating a podcast strictly to youth travel basketball other than me, Gus Weaver. And I'm proud to bring you guys a wide variety of guests on almost every program. My guests range from, coast to coast here in the United States, from tournament directors, program directors, coaches. And today we're going to branch out, and for the first time in 20 episodes, we're going to actually have a couple of players actually in studio with me right now to talk about some of their experiences playing travel basketball here in Michigan. Once again, what this show is, it's a show to bring attention, bring a little bit of exposure. It's almost a networking show, so to speak, because the teams we talk about, they get tagged on social media, and other sites will follow them. So we're trying to use social media for what it is for this show. Why am I doing it? Because I love to give some of the underrated kids a little bit of attention, a little bit of exposure. It's good for some of their parents to hear their kid being talked about on a podcast, such as this one. And once again, when these players are mentioned, the parents are excited. The parents share that info, and it's always good if you're a parent to hear somebody speaking about how well your kid is doing. And that's another reason why when I promo this podcast show throughout the various social sites, I do ask for anything your team has going on special. If you got a player that's hot, if you guys are on a big winning streak, if you got a hot tournament coming up, if you have tryouts coming up as a team, please let me know, and I'll get that word out in the shout-out portion of this program. Last week, we gave you a full preview of the Michigan Playmakers, Michigan Warriors League that was in Livonia. We were there firsthand last week to take a look at some of the talent. Our boys, two teams combined, 3-1 last week, so not a perfect weekend, but not a bad weekend. The 2025 boys went 2-0, and the 2024 boys dropped the opener and came back strong to finish the day with a big victory. We will not be at the Playmakers League this Saturday, as there are no games due to a homecoming, but we will be taking part in a tournament in Brownstown hosted by Smarts Company. Some pretty decent teams in this tournament, something for us to keep the boys busy. So we'll be down there checking out some teams, checking out some players that I haven't yet had a chance to lay eyes on. There should be a couple of squads down there from Ohio, so I'm excited about that one. Once again, in episode 20, episode 20 brings us, like I said, two major players in the city of Detroit when it comes to Detroit Pal basketball. These two have been deemed the best duo in Detroit Pal, and I don't know where they got that name from. I do remember seeing that name a year or two ago, and I think there was an opposing coach that came up with that term to describe my two guests that I have in studio today. These guys have been playing ball together for quite a few years to be at such a young age. Class of 2024, representing UPSM, representing the 313 Hot Boys. Let me introduce number 23, Derrick Miller, and number 2, James Weaver. Guys, Thank you for being in the studio. Say hello to the listeners.
What's up?
What's up?
So, first and foremost, you guys are the first set of, let's say, kids that have been my guests on the show. You're the first kids, period. They've been full of adults, full of coaches, full of tournament directors, but this isn't you guys' first time taking part in a podcast. If I remember correctly, you guys did a podcast over last winter, and that gave you a little bit of experience. Can you talk to me about, Juice, you can go first. If you can remember anything from that last podcast that you could bring into this podcast interview, what would it be?
We talked about how we did in our previous tournaments, and it's talking about what do we want to do when we grew up, and if we wanted to play college basketball or not.
That was a good conversation. You guys had some crazy answers in terms of do you want to play college ball? If I'm not mistaken, every player in that room wanted to play college ball. D. Mills, Derrick Miller, I'm assuming you're one of those guys that still got your eyes set on playing college ball. Am I right?
Yes.
What colleges you got in mind?
Duke, Kentucky, and Michigan State.
Duke, Kentucky, and Michigan State. 3 very storied programs. Your goals are set high, and no reason why you can't achieve some of those goals and play for one of those major universities. First things first, how long have you two guys been playing together, and what team did you start out with?
We've been playing since 3rd grade, and we started playing off for the Michigan Playmakers.
So the Michigan Playmakers started back in 3rd grade. That's 4 years ago. So I'm sure you guys have developed quite the chemistry, which is we see it on the AAU court. But one reason why I wanted to have you two guys in here is because Detroit school season will be starting up soon, and to watch you two guys on the same team playing for UPSM, the chemistry between you two is even more noticeable. James, can you talk a little bit about the chemistry that you and Derrick have developed playing with each other over the years?
We just have fun playing with each other. We know what each other is good at. So I'm more of a playmaker. I find Derrick on most of the cuts and on fast breaks and stuff to get him easy points.
How you like that? He said he more of a playmaker and he like to get you easy points. I don't know. I've been playing basketball for a long time, and those type of teammates don't come by all the time where they want to get you easy buckets. And Juice, on the flip side, those type of teammates don't come along often that you know you can get it to him and he gonna come through so you get your assist. So it's kind of like a good working relationship that you two guys have. When you first met each other and you were playing on the Playmakers, the thing about AAU basketball, about travel basketball, is you can have a teammate today and tomorrow that kid is no longer your teammate. You guys experienced that playing with the Michigan Playmakers. When a good friend, a teammate of you guys, Mr. Jeremiah, I can't remember Jeremiah's last name, but his family picked up and moved to the East Coast, I think Baltimore or something, and it kind of left the team with an empty spot. Derrick, can you talk about, if you can remember at all, because that was a few years ago, how'd you feel with your first time losing a teammate, moving on somewhere like that?
It felt really bad because he was like one of our main key players on the team. He did really good when he was playing with us, and then he left.
That was sad for all of us to see because you like you said, he is and was one of the key players on that team. Overall, when you guys broke on the scene with the Michigan Playmakers, James, you remember any of those other kids that were your teammate during that time?
DJ, Devin White Jr., and I remember our backup point guard, Trent. I don't remember his last name, though.
You know, I saw Trent not too long ago. That was a pretty solid team, I think. Wasn't Keith on that team too, Big Keith, for a little while?
Yeah.
With the Playmakers? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good team, man. Nash,
Oh, yeah, Nash.
Little Nash Gilbert was on the team, Dan Gilbert's son, so that was a solid team. And, you know, I really enjoyed I look back at some of the pictures that I've seen on social media of you two guys back then and how much you've grown physically, but not only from a physical standpoint, but how much you've grown on the basketball court. And it's fun to go back and look at some of the old pictures, some of the old videos, and then look at the videos and pictures of today. You guys are definitely on the right track. You're doing it well. Derrick, if you can speak to this, or Juice, after you guys left the Michigan Playmakers, you moved on and you were playing for Reach / the Natives at that time under Coach Day. How was that experience? Was it fun? And what can you say about some of those teammates you had, Juice?
Some of them I knew already, but when we moved to a different team, we had more leaders, and that was our first time actually going out of like Detroit area. We went kind of farther, so it was fun for me.
It's always fun to travel. I don't know. I'm a proponent of traveling with you guys. I like for you guys to hit the road. Some of the cities that we've traveled to, Chicago, Spartanburg, South Carolina. We've been to the mountains in Tennessee, all over the state of Ohio, all over the state of Michigan. Derrick, if you have any memories, good memories, of course, when you played with Reach, played with the Natives, can you speak on it? Were you guys able to, I guess this is what I'm trying to get out of you, have you built relationships along the way? I know you made friends with the Michigan Playmakers. Of course, I'm sitting here with two guys that met playing for the Playmakers. But after that, were you able to develop a friendship with some of the guys that you guys played with on the Reach team?
Yeah, because we met a lot of people, Jamar, Cheeks, a lot of people. We still in touch now. We just played them the other day. Yeah, we got a good friendship still going.
And that's one of the main things about this is, you guys went to a training session last night. Not necessarily a Hot Boys training session, but a training session none the least in the city of Detroit. And when you go to these things, you run into players that you do play against. They are your competition when you step in between those lines. But to go to a training session, everybody's doing the same thing there. So it is good to develop relationships with some of your teammates, like you said, because once somebody leaves the program or you leave the program, it's still cool to have that bond with other guys that are doing the same thing you're doing. And that's, they're playing for the love of the game, playing the game they love. And that's basketball on the highest level that you can play. That's something else that I emphasize to the people that listen. AAU / travel basketball, it is not your regular city league, your community league, your church league. It's basketball at the highest level. So if you can make it here, you stand a good chance of going to high school with a name already and eventually going to the next level, which is to play college ball. And that's what most kids are after, going to play college ball. After you guys were with Reach, I can say this. I ventured out on my own, and I started my own squad, the 313 Hot Boys. And the hardest part of it all when we started was getting the players to want to play for the team because nobody knew who we were. The parents didn't want to leave teams like Reach or like the family or anything like that to come over to something that was brand new, the 313 Hot Boys. James, you're the one person right now on the team that was with us in our very first tournament. Can you, just talk about what you've seen from the program from when we first started to where we are right now. And you could talk about anything in terms of how talented we were as opposed to how talented we are, or the uniforms that we started out with, which were trash, right? And the uniform options that we have now. Talk a little bit about the 313 Hot Boys, where we started, where we are a year and a couple of months later.
When we first started, we had shirts with jerseys that had our number and our nickname on the back. And now we got Moneyball uniforms and we got 3-4 different choices that we want to wear. We get to choose any game. And when we started, all of our players wasn't as experienced as other teams that we was playing. And now everybody on our team is basically ranked. So our skill level went really high.
Yeah, that's something big. When we first started, like I said, it was hard to get players. So we had players that wanted to play for us, not necessarily the most experienced in terms of, high-level experience. Everybody's played in club and community. But in terms of AAU, style experience. We couldn't really get much there. Juice, you spoke on the uniform options. Where we started with regular T-shirts. Now, not only do we have the Moneyball uniforms, we do have 3 or 4 more uniform options. D Mills, what's your favorite one to wear out of our uniforms right now?
My favorite one to wear is our new one, the red and white one.
I like those. Juice, what's your favorite one to wear right now?
The same one, the new one, red and white one.
It's always the newest one that's the favorite. Because if we got more uniforms tomorrow, that would then be you guys' favorite. But to get back to straight up basketball, Juice, you also spoke about the most kids on our team right now are ranked in terms of flat out in the state of Michigan, class of 2024. We do have one underclassman that plays up with us, been playing up with us pretty much from the start, Stevie Elam. He's also ranked. How does it feel to be on a team? Derrick, I'll ask you first. How does it feel to be on a team where you know everybody on the court can get a bucket at any given time?
It's good because if we can count on each other to make baskets and create plays for the team and share the ball. Yeah.
He's talking about sharing the ball, and I think it's a little bit more special, a little bit more easy, a little bit easier to share the ball, Juice, knowing that you got such great teammates that can finish those fancy passes that you like to throw. So are you making those passes, and sometimes I see you going down to the other end of the court already because you got that much confidence in your teammates. Give your teammates a shout-out that's making you look good finishing some of those passes.
Shout out to Derrick that's doing the interview now. Our big man Chandler Allen, and the underclassman Stevie Elam, and our sharpshooter Luke Westerdale.
And I'll give another shout out to my guy Big Al Gillum because you and him, Juice, have quite the relationship when it comes to running the pick and roll. It's something that I like to see you guys work on. And overall, I think our team is pretty fun to watch. A lot of time when I'm in the stands, we're watching you guys play. A lot of the parents, parents that's not from our team, they say how fun you guys are to watch, and they can tell that you guys all get along on and off the court, and that's what we're trying to build is a family atmosphere with the 313 Hot Boys. I got to ask you guys, you recently participated in a Nationals event in Tennessee. You finished 5th, which is not bad for a Nationals event. I know we all felt like we should have finished a little bit better. Derrick Mills, speak a little bit about your experience at your first Nationals.
It was really good because we made a name for ourselves going out to Tennessee, playing against some of the top teams around the state. Around the countries and all that. And I think we did really good out of 16 teams.
Yeah, I thought you guys performed well. I thought we left a little bit on the table, but at the same time, definitely a good experience for all of us. And I think everybody that was there, it was their first time going to a Nationals. So from coaching down to players, I think we did a fantastic job. Juice, do you have any memories, or what do you take away from Nationals knowing? I guess what I'm asking is, what do you need to work on from your game personally? Not from a team aspect, but personally, what do you feel you need to work on after going to a national stage and seeing the competition?
Don't be as nervous, work on my nerves. My free throws, because every free throw counts in Nationals because all the teams are a top level, and just getting more strong.
So stronger, free throws, which is, everything you named is something that could be worked on. Obviously, free throws when we're in the gym, you can work. Strength, you can work on. Nerves, you only get rid of nerves by continuing to do what you do until the game slows down for you. D Mills, what do you feel you need to improve on from a personal aspect, not a team, after witnessing the competition at Nationals?
Well, I think I need to work on is finishing, free throws, and getting my defense better because I can't let anyone get past me because it's Nationals and it count.
Well, once again, yeah, it counts at Nationals. None of those games were easy at Nationals. But what you said you need to work on also, it can be worked on. You know, that's the good thing about what you guys want to work on is something that we can attack to help take your game to the next level. A little bit of silliness so the listeners can get inside your world. I'm going to ask you guys a couple of off-the-wall questions. Just fire away. First things first, James, your favorite food?
Chicken.
Derrick, your favorite food?
Pizza or chicken?
Which one, pizza or chicken?
Pizza.
Pizza. The second one, favorite NFL team, Juice?
Patriots.
Patriots.
That's terrible. How about favorite college football team, Juice?
Michigan.
Either Michigan or Alabama.
Pick one.
Michigan.
All right. Favorite car right now, if you could go buy any car you wanted. Derrick, you go first.
Lamborghini.
What about you?
BMW i8.
I-8. Sound like he got a plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, favorite basketball player of all time?
I'll go with Michael Jordan.
Kevin Durant.
Ooh, MJ, KD. Hey, fellas, it's been a pleasure talking to you guys for a few minutes. Before I let you go, this is something that I always do. I give my guests an opportunity to tell our listeners where they can follow you on social media. Derrick Miller, go first. Tell the people where they can follow you, whether you're on Instagram, Twitter, whatever it may be.
My Instagram is dmills001.
Is that all you got? Is Instagram right now?
No, I have Snapchat. That's dmills30.
Check him out on Instagram, dmills001. That's DMILLZ001. Juicy J, James Weaver. Where can the people follow you on social media?
You can follow me on Instagram at BigPlayJCJ2024 and on Snapchat at BigPlayJCJ.
There you have it. Follow him on Instagram, BigPlayJCJ2024. Once again, Derrick Miller, James Weaver, the baddest duo in Detroit, pal. I did not coin that phrase. Somebody else did. It's been a pleasure talking with you guys. Thank you again. I think those guys did a great job considering that this isn't something that they're comfortable with, situation, straight up being interviewed for a podcast in which tons of people are going to listen to it. Tons of people are going to hear it, but that's the goal. Let's get these kids' names out there. Let's get their stories out there, and, you know, let's give them some love. Once again, every program ends with a shout-out portion. I've told you guys, you know, numerous times, this is one of my favorite times of the show because this is where the interaction, you know, the rubber meets the road, so to speak. When I promo this podcast show, I ask you guys, if you got anything worthy of a shout-out, send me the info. I'll be sure to get these kids' names out there, the team, the tryouts, whatever you may have going on. Shoot me the info, and I will provide it in shout-out format at this part of the show. First things first, we have a couple of Great Lakes Warriors to shout out. Class of 2023, big shout-out to Jordan Scott of the Great Lakes Warriors. Two more Great Lakes Warriors, class of 2024, TJ Nadeau. Class of 2024, Dylan Smith. Big time shout out to the Great Lakes Warriors, one of my favorite teams to watch. Definitely a program that's doing things the right way. Our next shout out obviously goes to the two young men that were in studio just talking to us about some of their experiences in travel basketball, some of the relationships, the friendships, all of the important stuff. Big shout out to Big Play JCJ and D Mills. Our last shout out goes to After Hours Radio, who had yours truly in studio with them last Friday talking a little bit of NFL. Please check them out on After Hours Radio for all of your After Hours podcast needs. Thank you again for listening. I'm your host, Gus Weaver. You just listened to episode 20